Hey guys, we're looking at the book of Leviticus today. We know you've been avoiding it because it's weird, so let's fix that. Now remember, the story of scripture began with humans in Yahuwah's presence, but they were banished because of their rebellion. However, Elohim wants to be in a relationship with us, so he chooses one family that he will use to restore the world back into his presence. So Elohim's presence comes to dwell in the tent right in the middle of Israel, and that's great, but it creates a problem. Because it's so intense that Moses can't even go in, and other priests who enter inappropriately, well, they die. So wait, if Elohim's presence is good, how is it all of a sudden dangerous for people? Think of it this way. Elohim's presence is like the sun. Unapproachable light, it's pure power and goodness. And when something immortal and corruptible gets close to such pure power, it's destroyed. And so the word set-apartness is used in Leviticus to describe Elohim's pure and powerful presence, which, like the sun, is both good and dangerous. So the point of Leviticus is to show how corrupt Israelites can live near Elohim's goodness without being destroyed. Now in the book there are 3 ways for how this is all going to work out, and these are going to seem strange, but just hang in there. The first one is rituals. The second is this idea of priesthood, and the third is a bunch of purity lords. Now, the book is broken up into 7 sections, and each solution is explored in 2 sections of the book. The rituals are here, the priests are here, and the purity laws go there. Now the first solution, rituals, involves a lot of animal sacrifices. And so Leviticus begins with detailed instructions for how to make these sacrifices. Some are ways of saying thank you to Elohim, and others are simply ways of saying I'm sorry. And here at the end of the book, there are some more rituals, and these are about observing sacred days and festivals. They are all about celebrations that retell some part of the story of how Yahuah rescued Israel and set them apart from all nations. The second solution to the set-apartness problem has to do with priests. You see, being directly in Elohim's presence is really dangerous. So he appoints priests as special representatives who can go into his presence on behalf of others. So in this section, we have a story about how the priests are ordained into the priesthood. And then this other section explains this set of higher standards the priests have to behave because they work so closely to Elohim's presence. The third solution in this book is all about purity laws, and this is by far the weirdest thing to dive into. For example, in this section, we're really concerned with knowing whether you're clean or unclean. Or another way of saying that is being pure or impure. Here's what we need to know to understand this. In Old Covenant times, when you were in a pure state, you can be near Elohim's presence. But when you're in an impure state, you can't. And so it was really important for Israelites to know what state they're in at any given moment. So the first thing we have is a list of pure and impure animals, and they're divided up by where they live. So on the land and in the sea and in the air. And the text is just not clear about why certain animals are impure or why touching or eating them makes you impure. What is clear, however, is that avoiding these creatures will set Israel apart, and it will remind them that Elohim's own set-apartness should affect every part of their lives, including what they eat. After the food laws, we get a lot of random rules about things like skin disease, touching their bodies, what to do with bodily fluids. But they're not random. All of these things that the Israelites associated with life and death, which are sacred things, because Elohim is the author of life, and by simply coming into contact with these things, made them impure. But we have to keep in mind that it's not wrong or sinful to be ritually impure. You just wait a few days, take a bath, offer a sacrifice, and you're pure again. What is inappropriate was entering into Yahuwah's presence when you're in an impure state. Now there's more purity laws over here in this section, and these focus on Israel's moral behavior. So these are laws about social justice, healthy relationships, having sexual integrity. Living by these laws will make Israel into a moral, pure people who can live near Elohim's presence. So those are the 3 solutions. Now you've probably noticed that they surround the very center of this book, and it's here that we find a really important ritual called the Day of Atonement. Israel is a big nation now. And odds are, there's a lot of sin happening that goes unnoticed, that people are not dealing with. And so one time a year, the priests would take 2 goats, and one of those goats is killed, and its blood is carried right into Elohim's presence, where it symbolically covers or atones for Israel's sin. And the meaning of this sacrifice is explained in the next chapter where Alahim says that the blood of a creature is its life. And so the goat's life is also offered as a substitute. It's receiving Alahim's punishment for Israel's sin so that the people don't have to. Now that just leaves the second goat. The priest puts his hands on it, then he confesses all the sins of Israel. It's like he's placing the sins on the goat. And then that goat gets cast out forever into the wilderness. It's called the scapegoat, and this is a very powerful image of how Alahim shows mercy in removing Israel's sin. But let's be honest, sacrifices in general seem so barbaric, don't they? Well, you have to remember that in the ancient world, sacrifices were the main way of buying favor from pagan gods and goddesses. But the problem was that those same deities were so unpredictable and fickle and not real. People were convinced they'd ignore you or turn on you. So it's in this cultural setting that we see Israel's Alahim as totally different. He does get angry about human corruption, but it is never random or whimsical. He loves people, so he provides this clear way for Israel to know with confidence that they are forgiven, and that despite their corruption, they are safe to live near his presence. And so that makes the book of Leviticus actually a revolutionary statement in its day. So that's Leviticus. But Israel is still at Mount Sinai in the middle of wilderness, and they still need a place to live. So the journey to the land of Canaan that Alahim promised to Abraham is what the next book of Scripture is all about.
I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see. And then, one day, I got in.